Good evening, ladies and gents, and we are at the Tower of London, and after hours one. I've never been in the Tower this late before. It's one of those special light shows, Crown and Coronation Light Show, so it should be worth seeing. Whatever, so we will wander around the Tower of London as well as a nice light show. There is an after hours viewing of the Crown Jewels, but I filmed it once, but probably not again. It's not worth the risk. The Bell Tower, that's where Queen Elizabeth I was imprisoned in there. It's said that they deliberately put her there so she would see the place where her mother was executed. Queen Mary, or Bloody Mary, who was on the throne at the time, Elizabeth's sister, and they weren't too fond of each other, shall we say. Oh, I can hear music already, how charming. Welcome to Crown and Coronation, an immersive light and sound show in partnership with Lux Muralis artist collaboration. This immersive experience will encourage you to explore the Tower of London in a new way, whilst celebrating the spectacle and significance of the Crown Jewels and coronation ceremony. Sorry. That's the medieval royal palace up there. And never been this side of the Traitors Gate before, this after closing time, shall we say. That in there is an amazing place because it takes you back in time, and you can walk on or in the same rooms as Edward I, Henry III. Both kings built this, all this out, the curtain wall and everything that you see, that's their creation. Here's Traitors Gate, or as our American friends call it, Traitors Gate. And the young ones, they do say it like that. It always makes me chuckle. It wouldn't have made you chuckle coming through this bad boy, would it? Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, Elizabeth I. St Thomas's Tower, this is. The Bloody Tower, where the princes in the tower were killed, or rumoured to have been killed, because anyone that saw the documentary on Channel 4 the other night, well, it threw up some new evidence that may point to the boys' escape rather than murder. This will probably be in several parts, maybe. Depends on how spectacular it is. Yeah, this will be in several parts. Oh, how exciting. One feels quite like one of those bright young things that one reads about in the newspaper. History. We are drenched in history in this place. I'll shut up now. It's the Bloody Tower. I will shut up in a minute, but just in that stairway up there is where the bones of, supposed bones of the princes in the tower were found in the reign of Charles II. Someone sent for my servants to convey me up these wretched stairs. Mountain block. My goodness. Chapel of St Peter ad Vincula. Tower Green. Beecham Tower we're looking at, by the way.
Preceptum regere potestis insigne Christianum tibi ad Deo comissum
This is where the scaffold is rumoured to have been, but many historians and descriptions of the time put it more over that way, just there. When Queen Victoria arrived at the tower and wanted to know where the scaffold was, of course nobody thought it was going to say, "I'm sorry mum, we don't know." So they just pointed there, and that's where a plaque was put. And within that church there lie the bones of over 1,700 people. They were found in Victorian times, including Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, George Boleyn, poor old Lady Salisbury, who was an old woman, too dangerously near the throne, I'm afraid.
Coronet te Deus coronet gloria, atque justiae honore et opera fortitudes, ut per officium nostre benedictionis vide recta et multiplici honorum operem fructi, ad coronam per venias regni perpetuum ipso labiente, cuius regnum permanent in secula seculorum.
But this is charming, delightful and charming, isn't it, my dears? The Wellington Barracks. This is where the crown jewels are actually kept now, in a nuclear bomb-proof area. The doors that lead into them are very impressive. Oh my, look. Sorry about that. Big shit on number 1, or number 0, sorry. went to one of these, didn't we? When it was the outside of the building, not long after COVID, I think, or one of the lockdowns. See, this is what I mean about the tower. It changes a lot. It never stays stagnant or the same. That's what I love about the tower. Dominic Christie, I never saw finer lights anywhere. The White Tower as you've never seen it before. Sceptre, that's got the Cullinan diamond in it, that very controversial piece, shall we say. Oh, I can play this on the piano quite badly. That's the Sacred Chrism Spoon. One of the few original objects of the original crown jewels to survive. Today has cost me in old money 28 guineas, 19 shillings and 7 pence and a half penny, and it's been worth every penny. Churches in the tower, all of which are old and filled with history. See, we may not get the tour of the crown jewels inside the jewel house, but this is as good as I'll be able to get you today, because I'm not taking risks today. I intend to take pictures in nighttime mode after I've done my filming, so I don't want to be turfed out. Besides, it's embarrassing anyway. I did it once and it isn't really, I shouldn't have done it really. Filmed in there. You're not supposed to film for a reason. I need to get myself a gimbal, because my arms and shoulders are starting to ache. It's been a filmathon today. Music of the Coronation. Shard. This is the Royal Fusiliers Museum. I think it's the Royal Fusiliers Museum. It is a museum filled with medals and, of course, militaria. Interesting question for you, ladies and gents. English Civil War. Who would you have fought for, Cromwell or the King? Me, I'm not the most ardent royalist, but I can never forgive Cromwell. A person that bans Christmas, I mean, that's just heinous. No, he was a bit of a hypocrite anyway. King in all but name, that fella was. There's danger in fanaticism, too much of one way or the other. Haven't we lived through some big historical things over the past couple of years, in all seriousness? COVID, the death of a queen who reigned for 70 years, coronation of a new king and queen, consort. I talk of it, the king, I won't say the devil, but I don't dislike the man that much. I find disliking people that will never know or learn of your dislike to be a really futile gesture, to be honest. Used to do all that, and
that by them we may be made partakers of the body and blood of thine only begotten Son, Jesus Christ.
Oh, by the way, watch out for the windows. I've been told to tell you. Carol, my friend from St Margaret's Barking, she said, tell your followers, or watchers, she always called you, tell your watchers to watch out for the windows in this place. She once went to the ceremony of the keys ceremony thing a good few years back and swears blind that she saw a ghost in one of the windows.
Jesus Christ, our only mediator and advocate. Amen.
20 minutes so far, so that's okay for part one. The King's house over there. Well, this was worth the money, I must say. This is a calf thing now, and it's rather expensive. Round here, apart from the toilets, is the Salt Tower, and this is reputed to be one of the most haunted areas in the Tower of London. Many Jesuits and Roman Catholic priests were held prisoner in the Salt Tower in the reign of Elizabeth I, including Father John Gerard, one of the few men to escape the Tower of London after being severely tortured and manacled. Harry got, well, desperation got him out, didn't it? That's how you get out of the Tower of London. But yeah. Here is the Salt Tower. Obviously the main bits and pieces that you go in during the day are all closed, but... Salt Tower, circa 1240, or 1240 it says, not circa. Oh, there we are, look. John Gerard, Jesuit priest, was a prisoner here in the 1590s. He was given only straw to sleep on and was hung in manacles as a torture, but later escaped. High-status prisoners usually had more comfortable conditions. John Bailey, King of Scots, was King Edward I's prisoner in the upper chamber here in the 1290s. Discover more prisoner stories in the Beauchamp Tower. Well, we can't because we can't go in there, but upper floor of that, King Balliol. Yeah, that was good for me. I remembered one of my drop down suddenly spots, although I've been here enough, so. Elephant in there, look. In the reign of Edward I, he was gifted an elephant, and it lived a very short and drunken life. They fed it on wine to keep it warm. When they were given an ostrich, the people that they got it off have told them that the poor animal ate iron, so they fed it nails, and it died very quickly. Raven's shop. Ravens' quarters are over here where the ravens live. Whether we'll be able to see them or not, I don't know. I'm just pointing you this way so they can... Oh, those lights are bright. You take your retinas out. II, Restoration King. If you watch Eastbury Manor House, or have watched it, I'm not sure what order these will go on in, Sir Robert Viner, is it? Who lived at Eastbury. He basically funded the Crown Jewels. And died a poor man for it. Because King Charles most graciously wrote off most of his own debts, and many of the people that he owed money to never saw that money. Henrietta Maria. Queen Henrietta Maria. Zadok the priest. If you didn't read that fully, the reason the ravens are kept in the tower is in the reign of Charles II. Samuel Pepys, Robert Hooke, other men of science, they had telescopes up on the roof of the White Tower, and they got so pissed off with the ravens shitting on and messing with their telescopes that they went to the king and asked him to have the ravens got rid of. And he gave the order, and someone said, "Sire, if the ravens leave the tower, yourself and the kingdom shall fall and crumble into dust." And King Charles II, who was a very superstitious man, thought, shit, in hell, not taking that chance, and he decreed that there must be a set amount of ravens always at the tower. And there always has been since then. I think it's 6. One of my favourite ravens, Merlina, she escaped and is believed dead, unfortunately. And that's quite sad, because she was lovely, she had such a character. You'd often see her about and you could feed her things, and she'd even let you stroke her, Merlina. Here we are, ravens. They're in their cage. There they are. There's 2 of them. Oops, sorry about that. It's the lights, they blind you a bit, don't they? Sorry. There is another raven in their cage there. And have my retina scalded out by orange lights. There's another one in there, just there. They seem quiet. Probably think, what the fuck is all this about? We're normally quiet and sleeping by now. I vow to thee, my country, this hymn is. Words by Cecil Spring Rice. Or tune, I think, I don't know if it's the tune or... I know it's either the tune or the words by Cecil Spring Rice. Tune and words are by 2 separate people. Britain. The late Queen's father, that's the king you can actually respect. funny anecdote actually. When the King and the Queen Mother went to Upton Park to view bomb damage, he said to some of the EastEnders, "My home has been bombed," and one of the East Londoners went, "Ha ha, which one?" Apparently he laughed. What can you do? Late Queen. That's the imperial state crown he wears there, and the sapphire in the top of that is the sapphire of King Edward the Confessor. It's taken from the ring off of his finger when he was exhumed. Black Prince's ruby sits in the front of it. Some real historic gems in there. Some cursed as well, apparently. The King and Queen. Well, that was very good, wasn't it? Join me for part 2. Welcome back to part 2. And obviously I can't time when I arrive and stuff. I got a time slot, and when we arrived we were about halfway through the history of coronations. Now we're starting at the very beginning. When William the Conqueror was crowned at Old Westminster Abbey, the people of London gave up a cheer, and these soldiers went about killing people thinking that they were on the rise. It was basically just an excuse to put the native Londoners in their place. This is what this place was built for, to subjugate the native Londoners and to say, "We are here, the Normans." While this was being built, William the Conqueror stayed at Barking Abbey. The one I said was Edward the First. I think it may have been Henry the Third, but this is Edward the First. Yeah. Hammer of the Scots. Ooh, Richard II, deposed king. Elizabeth I banned Shakespeare's play about that one. She did not want her people getting any ideas that a king or a monarch could be deposed, and was. In her old age, she was prone to melancholy, Elizabeth I, and she once said, "I am Richard II. Know you not that?" Henry V, Battle of Agincourt king. Henry VI, murdered in the White Tower. Murdered within, medieval palace he was murdered in, Ceremony of the Lilies and Roses is around him. Richard III. That's interesting and poignant considering the new information that's come to light about the princes in the tower. They may have escaped. This Henry VII, the first Tudor king. Everyone recognises this image of Henry VIII, the famous Holbein image. Edward VI, Henry's son, short reign. Fairly luckily, because they say he probably would have been worse than his father. He burned enough people in the short reign he did have. Catholics. Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary. She burned people too, but different faith. Protestant she burned. Elizabeth I. I'm surprised they've not shown Jane Grey, the 9 Days Queen. Though she wasn't crowned, was she? So that's probably why. Elizabeth I, she burned everyone. Anyone that pissed her off. No, she was... In her own persuasion, she would have been fairly lenient with religions. She'd said once, "I wish not to make windows into men's souls, but if you touched on crown or state, then you were in trouble." And when the Jesuits got going and the conspiracies and plots to kill her and Mary Queen of Scots, that's when they really came down hard on the Catholics. James I, King who united England and Scotland, really. See, Elizabeth died without an heir, didn't she? So they weren't going to let a Catholic take the throne, so it was James. Charles I, the executed king. The tree was probably the interregnum, and now you've got Charles II, the Merry Monarch. James II, also deposed. The last Stuart king. And you've George I, a German who didn't really like England very much, or a Hanoverian who didn't like England very much. George II. Funny thing with the Hanoverians, the parents and the eldest son, they detested each other. Absolutely detested each other. George II's son died before him, so his grandson George III came to the throne. Mad King George. George III. Battle of Waterloo. George IV and Prince Regent. Prinny, as some people called him. King William. George IV and King William were the uncles of Queen Victoria. Both died without heirs. George IV's daughter, Princess Charlotte, was the darling of the nation. She died in childbirth. She was like the Princess Diana of her era. People really grieved when she died. Queen Victoria. King Edward VII, Queen Victoria's son. Like our current king, he came late to the throne because his mother lived to such an age. Dr. Frederick Treves, who looked after the Elephant Man, performed the appendicitis operation on the king. In 1902, he almost didn't make his coronation. King George, Queen's grandfather. Good war king, done his bit, but was not a very good father, unfortunately. George, the late Queen's father. We did see this bit, didn't we, in the Battle of Britain. I wanted to get us all the way through the line of kings. A good war king. Late Queen. decipher of the current monarch, King Charles. Crown Imperial, or St Edward's Crown. Very good.